Welcome everyone to another episode of the Reckless Paradise podcast. I am your co-host, Dystro. I'm here with my hosts, Marissa. Say hi.
Hi. Happy Thursday, everybody. Oh, I am exhausted. I have had a very, very long day,
And
to put it lightly.
for me, well, I well, as of right now, I've had to do some not renovating, but some restructuring in my bedroom right now because I'm getting a new frame for my bed. Uh,
Le bed.
because the old one was taking up just a little bit too much room, and I figured, think smaller, not larger in bulk.
Even though you're tall.
Uh, well, yeah, but it's like things are happening around here, so
Just makes you shrink down by like a whole foot.
so
And you're 5'4".
just to say, so 6'4", I'm 5'4" now.
Shit, you'd be my height. I'm like 5'3 3/4".
Like, hey, look, you can see me now instead of having to look up.
Hello.
Hello.
Anyways, happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everybody's having a very good week so far. Um, don't mind me if I sound very tired, because I am. I am very tired. Um, I've been up since 7, and I did not get a nap, and I have been on the road most of the day. So, plus I walked around the track, which is like literally across the street from my house. So,
And
and
I worked, so.
you worked. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoy the episode. So, we're doing yet another year in wrestling episode. This time, we're going to go ahead and move forward to 2007. I believe the last episode we did '06. So, if you haven't checked that out already, please go on ahead and do so. We did it not so long ago. Pretty decent episode, even though '06 is probably the roughest year by far that we've had to do in terms of anything really happening good. TNA was on the rise at that time, but WWE, yikes, something was going on. But I don't want to spoil any more of it. So if you had missed '06, go ahead and take a listen to that before listening to this. So 2007 just so happens to be the year I started watching wrestling at the age of 5. Obviously, I probably watched it before then, but I didn't start remembering key details until I was about 5 years old. So that's why I will always say I started watching wrestling in 2007 rather than years prior.
Right.
So, Dice Show did the honors and took all the notes, from month by month, as well as deaths or people who have retired or people who had just debuted in the business. Um, so I'm gonna give the reins over to Dystro, and let's start out with the deaths. Let's start with that.
Just to get those out of the way.
Yeah,
For
we'll get
everyone.
the deaths. Let's get the small stuff out of the way, like the deaths, the retirements, and the debuts. Let's get all that out of the way.
Okay. Well, so some of these deaths are probably going to be ones that we have talked about before, like one in particular on this list. If you haven't listened to the episode, I highly recommend to go listen to the episode more in depth. And the most notable one, it's Chris Benoit.
Oh,
There's no way to get around that. But if you want to learn more about that, I would recommend go listen to our deep dive into the Chris Benoit story for more context about
just a
that.
fair warning. There is a bit of a trigger warning on that for people who are sensitive to certain topics. It
Yes.
is a very, very sensitive topic. The whole
Hmm.
story from start to finish. We did this episode, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. So yes, please go take a listen to that. We're not going to talk about it in depth here because we've
Hmm.
already done it.
Hmm.
So yeah, Chris Benoit definitely the big death here in this year, but there are more.
Another notable one is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
the biggest, hugest dude. That it's like he's been in WWF, WCW, and ECW, all three of the major companies.
oh absolutely.
Same with Mike Awesome. Like, he's been in ECW. Well, he was in ECW, and then he went to WCW as ECW champ, and then he got buried for it because he was the cousin of Hulk Hogan and another cousin of Horse Hogan, and then he was in WWF, and then he just didn't do anything with them. Like it was so tragic to see like his stardom just fall off a cliff. Another one, famous manager, as if you will, Miss Sherry Martel,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
sensational Sherry. For those who do not know who she is, she managed Shawn Michaels, Rick the Model Martel, who is his wife, um, or her husband, I should say. She managed Harlem Heat for a quick spell, which was that was freaking awesome. Um, I didn't realize that she had passed in '07. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I never even knew
Uh,
that either.
but like it was funny. Like I was watching the Mania '06 when I was going through '06 stuff, and she had just been inducted that year into the Hall of Fame, and then a
Wow.
year later she passed.
Jesus, that's fucking crazy.
Um, Another noticeable one is Nancy Benoit. More context on that in the Chris Benoit episode, but we're not going to talk about that here. Another one is John Cronus. He is part of the Eliminators with Perry Saturn, former ECW tag team champ. Um, did some stuff in Japan and all that stuff, but never really got to shine. Really, um, he did a really good fucking 450 splash though. I'm gonna not gonna lie about that.
Wow.
And he was a tag team champ with freaking New Jack of all people.
Dear God, not New Jack.
Crush, formerly of Demolition, Axe of Smash. Um, and it's like it's crazy. Like he had so much potential too, but they just didn't do anything with him. Um,
Right.
Formerly of WWF. I can't remember how old he was. I think he was like maybe mid 30s. He passed something like that. And then another one, Fabulous Moolah. Um,
Mm.
Not a lot of people really want to talk about her,
No.
because of her involvement with
Past.
the women's stuff. But
Oh, y'all want to talk about that? Y'all want to find out what happened there? Go watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode about that. It's really good.
yeah, but yeah, that's it for deaths. I'm gonna do the retirement and then I'll do debuts.
All
Is
right.
that sound cool?
Yep.
All right. So retirements. Chris Canyon,
Chris
man.
Canyon. Didn't they do
Chris,
Dark Side of the Ring on him too?
yes, yes, they did.
Hmm. Okay.
Chris Canyon, man, like he had so much potential too. Oh my God. He was a former WCW US champion and I think tag team champion with EDP Fitz. Um, um, and plus they're like good buddies, until up till death and all that stuff. Um, Dusty Wold, baby. Dusty Wold has
Oh, not
retired in
Dusty.
'07. Um, it's crazy that he retired in '07. Because it's like we saw him like what years later in Battleground 2013.
Yeah, and then he died in like 2015.
Yeah, God bless him.
God bless.
Um, Another man that does not get talked about much, Monty Brown
Yeah, I remember him too.
from TNA, and then he went to ECW and failed. Uh,
ECW.
it's like and then like he retired due to family issues. He had to take care of his mom, which fair enough.
Understandable.
And he never returned to wrestling. He never
Wow.
returned. It's been maybe 17 years.
About that, yeah, you're right.
Maven, the guy who eliminated Undertaker with a drop kick. He has his own YouTube channel, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he talks about like war stories, like people who was a dick to him, who was people who was nice to him, and all that stuff. It's a pretty good YouTube channel. And another retirement is Bob Backlund.
Oh yeah, fucking Bob Backlund. God, he's like old school him.
He was the person that got Angle to get like what- more ruthless in the Attitude Era.
Oh God.
um, and then he was the longest reigning WWF champion for the longest time until Diesel beat him in like 7 seconds at
Oh
Madison Square
Jesus
Garden.
Christ.
Um, but yeah, it's crazy that like he was like still relevant in '07. He's still kind of relevant now. All
Yeah.
right, debuts. All right, I put like five notable names here.
Okay.
One of them was Pentagon Jr.
Pentagon Jr.
Yeah.
Damn.
Um, I didn't realize that he debuted in '07. I didn't realize that. I thought he was like, earlier on, like later on, like 2014, 2015 sort of area.
Right.
Because that's like when the indies were getting big. Lindsay Dorado, the Golden Minx himself.
Oh, okay.
Sonata.
Ooh.
I I completely forgot he debuted in '07. I forgot.
Wow.
Roosh was another big one.
Okay.
And then Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And then that's it for debuts.
All right.
Like so
Let's dig into the year, I guess.
it's like '07's like off to a hot start with the debuts and then the retirements and then some of the deaths. It's like there's a mixed bag of everything in there.
Yeah, I do like for me every time I think of '07, like for WWE, it's definitely a dark period.
Oh well, yeah, for sure.
It's like '06 but worse.
Yeah, it's like '06 like was like the penultimate year for TNA because TNA was thriving while WWE was like kind of like dying a little bit.
Yeah,
But I think like '07 that turned around like real fast. For WWE side of things, I believe.
they were looking at a fucking big ass lawsuit though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But we'll get to
Okay,
that.
okay. So we're starting off the year hot.
January.
Um, no, just kidding. With New Year's Revolution. Do you remember this pay per view at all?
And like
I know,
the name or just in
like
like the
like
whole
in
pay per
general,
view.
like
Oh,
it
in
just in
general, I
general.
remember I remember that pay per view like fucking since '05.
Yeah, because it's like they never brought it back.
They should.
Um, but this was the first encounter between Cena and Umaga,
Ooh.
and this was like when Umaga was getting that big, huge monster heel push at the time. Because if you people who do not know, that is Jamal from 3 Minute Warning back in the day, without all the face tattoos. um, Big, huge dude, part of the bloodline and all that stuff.
God
RIP,
bless.
RIP. And then I put down three noteworthy matches. If anybody wants to watch this pay per view, was Hardy versus Nitro for the IC title in a steel cage, which was awesome. Raid RKO versus DX, even though it ended in like a draw per se, like a WDQ sort of thing, it's still a kick-ass match though. I'm not gonna lie. And then Cena versus Umaga, like
Umanga.
Umanga. I even put down Cena versus Umanga.
That's
So
literally how I pronounce it now. It's sad but true.
Umanga,
Umanga.
Umanga. All right. So next we have TNA Final Resolution. The whole card. I even put the whole card was kind of stacked. So let me get this up real quick. I wanted to like. I couldn't remember all the card.
I'm gonna get comfy here. Oh, I'm sore.
Let's
Oh,
see.
my cat is here. Everybody say hi.
Hi, Diggy.
Tiki.
All right. So we started off the night with Rhino versus AJ in the Last Man Standing. We have Saban, Daniels, and Jerry Lynn in a TNA X Division Championship match. Shelley versus Austin Starr, also known as Austin Aries. James Storm versus Petey Williams. LAX
Fuck you,
versus
P.
Team. Fuck you, Petey. LAX versus Team 3D for the NWA Tag Team Champions because they were not even TNA tag titles yet. They were still in with the NWA.
Wow.
And then Angle versus Samoa Joe, a 30-minute Iron Man match to determine the number one contender for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship contender. And then Christian Cage defeated Abyss and Sting in an elimination match that went 13 minutes.
Oh, wow.
um, from top to bottom, it was stacked.
Yeah.
Like you could say '07 was a pretty good year for TNA too.
Oh, yeah. For
Because
sure.
you have Angle, you have Joe, you have Christian Cage, Abyss, Sting, uh,
AJ.
AJ, Rhino. Uh, so like pretty good top tier stars there.
Absolutely.
Um, all right, on to the Royal Rumble.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, okay. This whole Rumble was kind of like not messed up, but it was kind of pretty stacked a little bit, to be honest with you. This is where Undertaker wins the Rumble and faces Batista at Mania 23.
Oh, yeah.
That is Taker's, I think, first Rumble win too,
I
because
think so.
he never won a Rumble.
Nope.
That's like my most noteworthy thing there. All right, moving right along. So TNA against all odds, Christian Cage versus Kurt Angle for the world title. That match was pretty good too. Um, Going on to No Way Out, and also we're in February, by the way.
February.
We're going on to No Way Out, which is dubbed a SmackDown pay per view at this time.
Ah, the brand split.
But the main event was HBK and Cena from Raw versus Batista and Taker from SmackDown.
Oh, boy. Huh.
That was the only interbrand match at that pay per view.
Holy shit. That sounds like a good match on paper.
It was too. Because I have seen this whole pay per view from top to bottom before. Um, Cena and HBK win because due to Batista and Taker not getting along, sort of thing. Um, but then they run it back like a week before Mania or something, and then Batista and Taker get their win back over Cena and HBK. Um, all right, so now we're in March. Destination X.
Ooh.
Christian Cage versus Samoa Joe for the world title. That was a hell of a good match too. I mean, you can't say good thing. You can't say nothing but good things about Christian Cage and Samoa Joe at that time
Absolutely.
because Christian Cage was just coming off of WWE and all that stuff, and then Angle was coming to TNA at that time too. So it's like you have like the first defactors jumping ship to the other company at that
Yeah.
time. That was like my most like noteworthy match right there. All right, to the big one, WrestleMania 23, April 1st, 07.
April.
Oh boy.
The
Okay.
final WrestleMania that Benoit would be in.
Yes, and he faced MVP at that show.
Oh no. I'm coming.
And Benoit at that time was US champ too.
I remember the whole US champ thing. I remember watching it on my own time when I got older. Like they had like this whole bunch of backstage things where he was trying to beat a record time to do something.
Yeah, because the previous year at SummerSlam, I think, it was the previous year at SummerSlam, I think like '05 or '06, I can't remember. But Benoit had beat Orlando Jordan for that title, and it was like 30 seconds that he beat him in.
And ever since then he was like on a kick, I'm gonna do this in record time. It's like
And
taking a piss or something.
like he made a coffee within 30 seconds and all that stuff. Like just literally burying Orlando Jordan right
It's
there.
kind of funny.
Yeah, because like who would believe Orlando Jordan being a U.S. champion? Like, come on.
Right.
But like I think it was like the Benoit and MVP match was really good. Um, it was really good. I even put like the buy rate for it. It was like 1.2 million buys.
Wow.
Because like you had the Money in the Bank ladder match, you had Taker versus Batista, you had Shawn and Cena, you had um you had the women's like battle royal that almost got cut for time due to the hair versus hair match between Trump and Vince.
Oh
So
god.
and then you have like you Manga versus Bobby as their proxies and stuff. Oh, and then the guest referee is Stone Cold Steve Austin because
Hell
why not?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Um, it's like uh, that whole show is just top to bottom, like up and downs. Like
Crazy.
it was so crazy. Um, but yeah. So April 15th, TNA Lockdown, Team Angle versus Team Cage.
Oh, that does sound good.
It was really good. Cause let's see. Oh God, I'm trying to remember the teams now. Um, well, Angle and Cage was team leaders, obviously. Um, I think it was like AJ. I think it was AJ, Tomko, Storm, and I'm trying to think who else now. I gotta pull it up here
I
just a
forgot
moment.
Tomko was there too at the time.
Yeah, yeah, he defected too. Okay, so Team Angle was Angle, Joe, Rhino, Sting, and Jarrett. Pretty
Shit.
solid, pretty solid team right there. And then Team Cage was Cage, AJ, Steiner, Scott Steiner, Abyss, and Tomko.
Ooh.
That went almost 30 minutes.
Holy crap.
um, and like that match was I think that was the match where Angle like threw AJ off the the structure and he's like getting all wild up and all that stuff and he does the middle fingers to everybody. I think
Oh
that was that
god.
I think it was that moment. What a time.
For real.
All right, so still sticking with April. Backlash '07. The
Mm.
infamous fatal four way between Cena, Orton, HBK, and Edge.
Oh yes. One of my favorite matches of all time. That finish is crazy.
Because it was like a finisher spree, like boom, 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 like
And Cena lands on top of
Orton.
fucking Orton. One, two,
Two,
three.
three.
And Cena wakes up. He's like, "What happened?
What?
Did I win?"
Yeah, did I win? um, it's too bad that the penultimate match was Batista and Undertaker. It was the last man standing match for the world title. Ended in a draw.
Oh boo!
So that crowd was still like had to like go down a lot and then had to be brought back up a lot after that.
Damn.
It's like, man, it's like I hate for that crowd to be like super like crescendo and then it's like like just falls flat at the end.
Kind of like the Royal Rumble '04 match with Shawn and Triple
It was
H.
like that. Yeah, it was like that because everybody booed.
Boo!
um, I still remember that match too.
God.
Because Batista, like he was trying to go like Taker was trying to go for a tombstone off the ledge. Batista gets out of it, rushes towards him, spears him, and then you see sparks flying. Like, and it was the light fixture that was off to the side,
Mm,
and they both went like right through it. And then the ref had to call it, and it was just like draw. Nobody can no like they were just done, and then the whole crowd went boo.
damn.
That crowd was ruthless. Okay, going into May. ROH's first ever pay per view. This is a
Wow.
marquee moment for ROH because at the time in '02, They were just like new doing like their thing. They weren't even on pay per view yet. They didn't even have a TV deal yet. They were just doing like whatever just to get the word out. DVDs and all that crap. So the main event for that show was Morishima, who's this big, huge like Japanese dude, and Brian Danielson versus Kenta and Nigel McGuinness. Now this was still when Nigel was still wrestling, and now he's like a commentator right now. But it's like to look at Nigel Guinness then and now is like so night and day because he lost all of his muscle. He lost a lot of weight back then.
Right.
Um, and like he was such a badass back then too. It's like I wish Nigel could have came back into wrestling now. Like I mean, he would have been so cool. Um, I can't remember like the rest of that pay per view, but that main event was like stood out to me because we need to watch that one day. Okay, Teen Days Sacrifice. I wish they would do My Sacrifice as the theme song. My Sacrifice. The main event was Sting versus Angle versus Cage to crown the first ever TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So this is when they were getting out of the NWA and then into TNA.
Wow.
Because at the time they were still NWA TNA, but then they just got rid of NWA
Right.
altogether. Um, and okay, this main event went almost 11 minutes.
Jesus, that's freaking short.
It's like okay. I was just like okay. Um, it wasn't really good pay per view. Just gonna be honest with that. All right, May 20th, Judgment Day. This is where we have Cena versus Great Khali.
Oh boy.
Uh, we have a great wrestler and then a shit wrestler. It's like Cena tried to make Khali look good, but he couldn't make him look good. Like I'm
Even
sorry.
Umaga's better than him.
Like even Umaga, he was still mobile than Khali was. Khali could do like maybe 5 moves. That's it.
Yep.
Choke slam, chop to the head, maybe a big boot, maybe like a sidewalk slam, and maybe like going raw or whatever. That's it. Like Cena couldn't even like he could. Oh my god, I don't want to talk about Khali anymore. All right, so on to June 3rd, One Night Stand. Now this is not ECW One Night Stand, but it's it's WWE's version of it's One Night Stand Extreme Rules, and then later becomes Extreme Rules after um, in '09.
Yeah.
This is where this was the last appearance of RVD until 2013, and the last appearance of Benoit in WWE.
Oh yeah.
Um, like we said, go watch the Benoit episode and learn more about that. Not gonna go into do deep intel into that. I can't fucking say words tonight. All right. Um, Slammiversary, June 17th, TNA. This was the King of the Mountain match. This is
Hmm.
the match on paper. Um, Angle, Joe, Styles, Cage, and Chris Harris. The Wildcat, Chris Harris.
Damn.
Um, he took that spot because at the time Jeff Jarrett was going through his wife. His wife had cancer at the time,
Yeah, his first
and
wife.
yeah, his first wife. Yes, to be clarified, his first wife at the time, she was having cancer, and he wanted to be there for her, which highly amendable right there. That's a good husband right there. Um, and then there was a video package with Jeff Jarrett saying like, I can't be there tonight, but I have somebody in mind that will take my place, and he nominated Chris Harris, which I was like, okay, that's pretty good rub right there, because like
Yeah.
because like the founder of the company is like, hey, like I'm putting my stock into this guy, and I mean he didn't really disappoint. Actually, it's like you have four main caliber dudes in there, and then you have like a tag team guy, but it was a former tag team guy because last month like him and James Storm had a Texas Death Match, uh, which was very bloody. Um, I mean, I've seen this whole pay per view, TNA Slammiversary. It's not a bad show. I just only watched it because of the King of the Mountain match. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, it's a good King of the Mountain match. Okay, still in June. I'm sorry if I'm like trying to like keep catch my breath a little bit because it's like I'm trying to keep it flowing. ROH Driven. This is their second pay per view. The main event was Brian Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness for the world title. Now on paper, that sounds like a pretty good match. It was actually awesome in execution. um, all right, June 24th, Vengeance, Night of Champions. I love that they just split both of them, and when we got one pay per view Vengeance and one pay per view Night of Champions. After that, look at that. The main event was Cena versus Lashley versus King Booker versus Mick Foley versus Randy Orton.
Wow.
Um, Now, which one of these people would you think is the odd man out here?
Okay,
I,
so
I would say I would say Mick Foley.
I was gonna say Foley, yeah.
Um, and plus, this is also the weekend of the Benoit case and all that stuff too. Really not gonna go more into that, so I'm just gonna move
Yeah.
on. All right, July 15th, TNA Victory. This is Angle and Joe versus Team 3D for all the titles. So the world title, X Division title, and the tag team titles. Angle and Joe win that because it's Angle and Joe. Why have you? Okay. July 22nd, Great American Bash, Cena versus Lashley. And then the OG Cruiserweight title is gone, and the last pay per view appearance was for Lashley until 2018.
Holy
So
crap.
Lashley was gone, and then he defected to TNA,
Yeah, he
and
jumped ship.
yeah, he jumped ship too, which is like crazy. Um,
Yeah.
um, TNA Hard Justice in August, Angle for ship for all the titles. All right, so I didn't put anything noteworthy like match wise for SummerSlam in August, but this was the final pay per view to feature Booker until 2011.
No, not Booker.
What do you mean? Where's Sean Bell?
Is that all you care about, Booker?
Yeah, I care about Sean Bell. I don't care about any titles or anything. I just care about Sean Bell. Okay. um. So September 9th, TNA No Surrender. This pay per view has three matches featuring Angle in them. I'll explain why. Because Angle had won all the titles last month at Hard Justice, so he had the World Title, X Division title, and the Tag Team titles. He was a Triple Crown champ.
So he had
Okay,
to wrestle 3 times that night.
he had yes, he wrestled three times that night. Opening match, like middle of the card, and then main event. So he had some room in between to like breathe and shit.
Yeah.
Um, because the tag title match was him and Sting versus R Truth and Pac Man Jones, who was a former NFL football player, who couldn't really get physical because in his contract he couldn't get physical at all.
Right.
It's like, so why wrestle? Um, so R Truth and Pac Man win those tag titles. Then later on, Angle faced Black Batista, Jay Lethal for the X Division title. That match was really good. And Jay won that night and won the X Division
Damn.
title. And then in the main event, he retained, Angle retained over Abyss. So he kept the world title, but he didn't give a shit about the other two titles,
Nah.
which really says something. All right. September 15th, ROH Man Up. for the main event was Ladder War 1 for the ROH tag titles. The Briscoes, who were the tag team champs, versus Kevin Steen and El Generico.
Also known as modern day Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yes. RIP Jay Briscoe. Um,
Yes.
that match was physical as fuck.
Oh my god.
It was really physical. All right. And then let's see. I'm gonna just jump ahead to October because there's nothing really noteworthy in September. And then October 7th, No Mercy. Triple H was in 3 matches that night as well.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
I guess somebody copied somebody's homework here.
Yeah, I see that.
um, God, what was it? It was like Triple H he faced Randy in like the opener, and then he faced I think Khali, and then he faced Randy again, and then Randy won. I think that night.
Oh my.
I think that's what I think that's right. Somebody will let me know. All right, October 14th, TNA Bound for Glory. I've seen this pay per view as well. This is Sting and Angle for the TNA title, and Sting talking about Sting now because he just retired recently, which congrats. Um, and this is where they introduced the TNA Knockouts title for the first time as well. Um, pretty pretty noteworthy sort of thing there.
Yeah.
Um, all right, October 28th, Cyber Sunday. Do you remember Cyber Sunday in general?
I remember Cyber Sunday and Taboo Tuesday, and I really feel like they would have benefited more of it now if they did it now because how much technology has really boomed.
Yeah, for real. Um, TNA for Cyber Sunday, I should say, was Batista versus Taker for the world title, and then I'm going to go into TNA now. November 11th, TNA Genesis. This was Angle and Nash, Kevin Nash, Big Sexy, versus Sting and Booker T.
Oh god.
I found John Mail. She's in TNA.
He jumped ship too.
and Nash. They both jumped ship.
Wow.
It's like this is the beginnings of main event mafia here.
Dear God.
Um, Survivor Series, November 18th. Batista versus Taker again in Hell in a Cell. And Taker won that, but this is where they began the rivalry between him and Edge too. Um, and then going right into December, Armageddon, Edge versus Batista versus Taker for the world title. And this is where Edge wins it, and then that's kind of it. Like nothing else really more to say about December or '07 in general. I mean, it was pretty eventful year to say the least.
It definitely was. Had its ups and downs, obviously, like you said, with WrestleMania 23
Yeah,
and Benoit's stuff that happened, and then people jumping ship from WWE to TNA, WWE losing some of its top stars like Booker T.
like
Um,
yeah, it's like '07 as a whole. It's like it's only the only two companies that benefited anything was WWE and TNA. That's it.
pretty much.
Um, I mean, really nothing more to say about them because it's like we already talked about debuts, retirements, and deaths, and already at the start of the episode. Um, but it's like it's just crazy how much wrestling went on in that year. Um, but I just didn't really want to like go super deep in detail on certain companies because then it's like it feels like I'm just being like a scapegoat for some of them, I guess. But I know you're kind of tired, so I'm gonna wrap
It's
this up.
okay. So that my friends, that is a year in wrestling, 2007. We hope you enjoyed. What do you guys remember from '07? If you guys were wrestling fans back in the day, Sad that I could say that word back in the day for '07. Like that is like crazy to think about. I was 5 years old. Let us know in the comments or on social media, wherever you guys want to hit us up. Go ahead. So, a couple things we need to talk about before we go. Our next episode, which will be this Sunday, is Shoot the Shit. Of course, fucking shoot the shit. We always do it right around this time of the month. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have a whole lot happen lately. I'm gonna be honest. So,
I didn't either.
I mean, there's a little bit of drama to talk about, but not a whole lot. Um, so maybe it won't be as long. I don't know yet. We'll see. So that'll be this Sunday. You guys won't want to miss it. Lately, you guys have been really watching the shoot the shit stuff, and I really appreciate that. Just lets us know that you prefer shoot the shit over some of the other stuff we do here, which that's great. Um, so that'll be this Sunday. You won't want to miss it. And Daisha, you have the song for tonight.
Yep.
So, what do you got?
So I'm gonna go with a song that you actually put on your Snap or Instagram, I should say.
Under Graham.
I'm gonna go with Black Crows with Remedy.
Oh my god, I love that fucking song. You know what? It's perfect timing too, because this month Black Crows are releasing an album titled Happiness Bastards. And I'm actually very surprised that they're still making music to this day.
Mm.
Um, and they sound kind of similar to what they used to sound like. Obviously, the vocals have changed a little bit in terms of sound. It's still the same vocalist. It's just like, they sound great. They sound great for 2024. I heard one of the songs off the new album as a single. It's on the radio all the time, uh, and it sounds like Jealous again. Like the startup sounds like Jealous again, and it's really good. So kind of the perfect timing to pick a Black Crow song, to be honest. And I'm glad you went with Remedy because that's literally my favorite Black Crow song of all time. Uh, so there is a music video for this one if you guys want to check it out. I will put the link at the top right hand corner at the end of the episode. It'll pop up. Go on ahead and take a listen. You won't be disappointed. And also be sure to stay tuned for their new album coming out later on this month. I actually might take a listen to it because I've wanted to get into their stuff a little bit more. They're kind of underrated, this group. I don't really hear a lot of people talk about the Black Crows anymore. They're kind of from the 90s, I think. They're kind of more of like a 90s group. Just overall, fucking good group. Kick ass. Anywho, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Go on ahead and follow us on social media by clicking on that link in the description below, which will take you to the link tree. We have Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter, so go on ahead and follow us there to keep up to date with the show. Also, Dystro's gaming YouTube channel is there as well, where he uploads weekly gaming content, and I'm in there too sometimes because we do play a lot of video games outside of the show. We're trying to get you to 1,200 by Easter Sunday, which is March 31st this year. So what are you at this time?
1,170.
Oh wow, damn, you're
Mm.
actually getting pretty close. You're at
Mm.
30. You need 30 more.
Mm.
Um, so let's get you there. Go watch his stuff. Go share his stuff around. Go subscribe to him, please, and thank you. Um, Once again, take a listen to tonight's song of the night, "Remedy" by the Black Crows, and that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys Sunday. Peace.
Peace.